Hello, good afternoon and welcome along to vlog 55. So, well, we start this week with I think a good result. It's currently Sunday afternoon and I'm a bit tired. I've just finished a 5-mile cross-country race, so the legs are a little bit tired. But I thought I'd get the picking done before we relax for the afternoon. So my wife is helping me out, which is always good. But we're currently sitting at 9 orders in total, 200 lots to pick, 1,240 items. So a grand total of £84, which is really good. It's a really good start to the weekend. And carrying on from sort of last week, right towards the end of the vlog, I mentioned that we'd received some negative feedback and we hadn't heard from the buyer as to what the problem was. So I contacted the buyer and asked them what was missing. There was a problem with something missing from the order, so I asked them what was missing, and I offered obviously to rectify the issue. And thankfully the customer came back to me, explain what was wrong, explain what the issue was, but offered there and then to remove the negative feedback. And I think because of that, because of their attitude towards the order was a good one, I offered a 5% discount coupon, as well as obviously rectifying the problem with the order. And I offered to send out the parts that were missing straight away. The customer had actually said that they were looking to purchase more parts because they were putting together, I think, more sets, and was looking obviously to find more stuff. So with that coupon, it, I think, helped sway the decision in my favour. So this is the actual order they placed, and there's about 45 quid's worth of Lego here after the discount, which is absolutely fantastic. Looking at the figures there, just 83 quid in total. This is over half of that. So Jacob, thank you very much. We apologised at the time about your order. We cocked up. We didn't count correctly, and we were short on his original order. But to come back with this is absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much. We really, really appreciate it and appreciate your support, and appreciate your attitude towards the mistake. It was great. You kind of wish that all customers were like that. A good friend of mine on the Bricklink and Brickhowl Facebook group has also just received some negative feedback, and unfortunately his buyer is not as understanding, and it's kind of bad. I mean, we're a community. I think we're all here for each other. Yes, some of us make a full-time living from this, but I think that the buyer that Kenneth has had is just, he's not interested. He's had a problem with his order. He's left negative feedback, and that's it. And I think to not give Kenneth the opportunity to put it right for him is probably the wrong attitude. So thankfully there are some good buyers out there. There's a lot of good buyers out there, but unfortunately there is a minority. But yeah, okay. Let's move on. This was another order that has come in. Now, you might remember these from a vlog a few months ago. I can't actually remember when. I found these in one of the sort of containers of mixed sort of minifigure parts and accessories. Didn't know what they were, but I was quite surprised at the value. They were £13 each, and both of those have sold in the same order. So again, absolutely brilliant. A really good order to have. So they're all picked. Now we are halfway through the picking process at the moment, but I wanted to stop and obviously film this. And because it's Sunday, it's the start of the vlog. So we're starting this week on a high, and I really, really hope it continues. Right, we're going to carry on with the picking now, get all of these orders packed, ready for dispatching in the morning. And there's a few to get through, so we better get cracking. Well, it's been an interesting morning. Today's Monday. It's already 10:30 in the morning, and I got up sort of bright and early, as you do. I had another couple of large orders that had come in overnight, so quite promptly got on with the picking, got them all done, got my orders printed out, got all the packing done, and I was just about to start doing the raw mail labels when Bricklink went down again. Every time you try to log in, you just got a, I don't know, page cannot be found error or something like that. Really frustrating. Really frustrating. I've got one order that's going into Belgium, and of course I need the IOSS number to put into the raw mail click and drop system, and I couldn't get hold of it. So I was literally just about to leave with the rest of the orders, take them over to the post office, and I thought I will come on and I will film a little bit for the vlog and air my frustrations when all of a sudden the Bricklink site started working again. And I looked on Facebook. In the groups, loads of people complaining. It's obviously worldwide. It was obviously something that Bricklink were working on or doing, and it's just really frustrating because there's no notice of any maintenance. There's nothing posted on the Facebook Bricklink page. There's just no notification. You don't know what they're doing. We don't even know, are we being hacked again? Similar to what happened last year. Is it something like that? Is it a security issue? Or are they just doing maintenance to try and fix this login issue? We don't know. They don't tell us. And it's just really poor, because although it frustrates sellers because we can't do our job and we can't, yes, it was only down for an hour, and looking back, it's not going to affect anything too drastically. But what about all the customers? What about the customers that were just about to log in to Bricklink and maybe go and purchase something? Maybe they're the first time buyer. Maybe they've used the system before. It's half term here in the UK for a lot of schools, and maybe parents were about to buy some parts for their children. Who knows? But what a poor experience they're going to have yet again of Bricklink, that the site's down, it doesn't work, and you don't get a helpful maintenance page or a helpful, we're sorry, we're having a problem. You just get a page cannot be found. It just doesn't work. And it's just really frustrating. And I know I'm ranting again, but I just wish they'd sort this out once and for all, and actually maybe put in some processes that stop this kind of thing happening, and improve the communication. It just feels really poor. Anyway, I need to print out the last label and get the other order ready and add it into this lot. I need to get off to the post office, and then I'm going to talk about what we're going to do for the rest of the week, because we're going to do something a bit different this week since it's half term. Right, let's get cracking with this lot first. Okay, here we go. Because it's half term, the boys are off for a week, and I thought it'd be good for them to help out in the store and probably earn a little bit of pocket money. So what we're going to do for the next 5 days, so Monday to Friday, we're going to spend a few hours each day, just a few, not the whole day, with the boys going through some bulk. Now, this is bulk that's come from the Brick Arena purchased. Now, it's all been washed. We sorted through it all. We washed it. It's ended up in one of these boxes, and now we're going to go through it. So we're going to use one of the sort of brick sorters. Again, we purchased it from Brick Arena, and we're going to try and filter out the smaller parts. And the reason for that is I think normally you'd focus on the sort of common parts, and I think I've got quite enough of that in the store, but it's all the smaller parts that I think I don't have. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to flip it around. focus on the small bots. So we'll do a first sort on this lot to start us off with today, and hopefully by the end of the week we will have added several new lots and thousands of parts. I'm not going to set any targets at all because I really don't know how this is going to go. This is the sort of first time really that we've got involved with bulk and bulk sorting. It used to be done by a relative, so enough on that, that's it. I'm going to get the boys in here now, give them a brief and get them started. I'm just going to go and finish off the paperwork for the orders that have just gone out, get everything updated and get them all sort of dispatched on Bricklink now that I've been to the post office. Right, let's get cracking. Okay, so I've just finished the 2-hour slot with the kids doing some bulk sorting, and I'll come back to that in a second because I've come back to my PC and I was just checking the news, and it's been confirmed that there was an Amazon Web Services issue this morning, and it would appear that this has caused the Bricklink outage that we had this morning. So an apology. Wasn't Bricklink's fault, nothing to do with what they were doing with the single sign-on or the login issues that we've all been experiencing. So apologies to Bricklink, it was nothing to do with you. It looks like you were just caught up in the AWS incident this morning, along with lots and lots of other websites. I hadn't noticed that, to be quite honest, but simply because at that time of the day I wasn't really using the internet. For me, it was just getting the orders done and getting them shipped. Thankfully, Royal Mail wasn't affected. I don't think. I've had no issue getting my labels, so luckily they were not on AWS as well. So, like I said, an apology to the Bricklink team. Right, so that bulk box that we chose, it looks like there wasn't really the sort of depth of small parts that I initially thought there was going to be, and we've ended up sort of sorting through all of the larger parts. That's what you can see in front of me, and we've already put away various tubs into my categories here. A lot of these drawers are now pretty full, but we've gone through just over half of that box, but like I say, I was expecting to find lots and lots and lots of small parts at the bottom, and it just hasn't happened. Maybe just because of the pure look of that particular box not having small parts, but hey ho. So that's kind of changed the plan a little bit, because I can't now spend any time sorting through smaller lots. I'm going to have to deal with all of this because I've got nowhere else to put it. So the only thing I can do is get a brick store file created, and we'll get some of this uploaded into the store, hopefully this afternoon. Time is getting on, it is 2:20. We'll see what we can do in the next couple of hours. Right, I better get on with it. Good morning, it's Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. And I'm a little bit behind this morning simply because of all of the Bricklink issues yesterday. So after I filmed that last apology, guess what? It went down again. Again, Amazon Web Services. I think there was a secondary issue in one of their data centers. I don't really know. But it affected the site again. I think it's sort of half loaded. You got to the home page, but there was no login button. All the icons, the search had all gone, and you just couldn't get into anything. And if you did have a sort of save link, you just got a page, page is not working. So it was down again, and I knew that I had quite a large order that had come in. It's actually this box here at the back. So I couldn't do any picking, and I decided to spend the evening with the family, which was really, really nice. We treated ourselves. There was an offer at the local Toby Carvery, so we were off for that. So that was good. A nice time was enjoyed by all. So that meant this morning I have had to do all of the picking. for all the orders that came in from yesterday morning onwards, and all the ones from last night. There weren't that many, but there were some quite big ones. You can see I've got another parcel here. There's another one just there, and obviously the one there at the back. And the great thing about that one was it contains the instructions of that Technic set that I listed in last week's vlog. And the instructions themselves were worth quite a decent amount actually for second-hand instructions. I listed them second-hand simply because there was new or absolutely perfect. These weren't absolutely perfect, although I do believe that they were new. So I listed them as used, but just in very good condition, and they've sold really quickly, so I'm really pleased about that. And it looks like the buyer was also buying parts for the same set, I think. So that's in that box there. Now I'm just sorting out the postage labels, but we've got that old issue with Royal Mail where once you've paid for your order, you get the red error box saying an unexpected error has occurred and your labels aren't generated. All you got to do is wait a few minutes, and when you go back in, you'll get the option to be able to reprint those labels, and it works in the end. It's just a bit of a pain when it happens. So I'm just waiting on that. I don't remember if I filmed the brick store file that we created. This is the sort of bulky bits from yesterday, and that's what I've created so far, but it's only 194 items, but there are 75 lots. I don't know yet how much of this we haven't already got in the store, but there was definitely some new bits, and it meant I sort of cleared this area here ready for day 2 of sorting out some bulk. Now I have already got another couple of boxes out of the chapel and brought them up to the house, and we're going to go through those. Still kind of on this mission to get to the smaller parts. So the boxes that I've brought up do look like they do contain some of the smaller items, so we'll see how we get on with that. Right, I'm going to get this finished off and get these orders to the post office, so I better get cracking, and yeah, I'll see you shortly. Okay, just another little update. We're day 2 of bulk sorting and we've been using this today. I've always said that I wanted to get to the smaller parts, which obviously should arrive in the bottom of the tub, but yesterday when we were using this, I think we were too focused on trying to get the parts sort of down these holes, and what we ended up with was the bottom full of larger parts. I mean, obviously they do fit through the holes, but we really wanted smaller parts, so we kind of abandoned it, but then sort of rethought it and retried it. So here are boxes of bulk. We fed them in at the top, only a little shake this time, and just let the smallest of the smallest parts fall through, and then we just simply sort of discarded the rest sort of back into the tubs. So we've got sort of 2.5, 3 tubs full of the initial sort that we've done, and we were left with this. Now this is what we're after, all of this small stuff. So just before lunch today, the 3 of us sat around the table, we've got some small pots out, and we started to go through it. And as you can see, this is as far as we've got. Now, I had a break, and I've kind of realised that this is the wrong way around of doing it. And what we should be doing is sorting this into more broader categories, because there isn't really a lot to show here for 1 hour's worth of work. Between the 3 of us, we've been working for 1 hour, and you know, I know that we've been through all of those boxes and we've done an initial sort through that, but this is all we've got. All right, and this is not going to get me thousands of parts added to the store this week. So I think what we'll do is we'll move these to one side and we'll make some broader categories and sort through this into more broader categories, I think. Like I said, this for us is a learning curve this week, so we're going to give that a try this afternoon. We've got another hour to go. And then that's the boys' allotted 2-hour session done. Right, let's get cracking. Good morning. It is Thursday, and this is pretty much where we got to after yesterday's second session. So we're just about to start today's session of an hour. And like I said, we decided to do a bit more of a sort of group sorting. So we sort of made up a few categories. We've got Technic over here. We kept the 1x1 round plates because there's so many of those, but sort of tiles, modified plates, two different sizes. We've got modified bricks over there, standard plates, standard bricks. This is the overflow of Technic, round pieces. We did the cheese slopes individually as well because again there were so many. Sort of slope bricks and anything that was interesting. So any sort of minifigure related parts or kind of unique parts, because they'll probably get uploaded pretty quickly, sort of at the end of this kind of job. But there is so much to go through just with those three boxes, just creating, you know, this box. It feels like it's going to take quite a while. And obviously as part of this learning curve, you know, we're seeing that even with the three of us, this sorting job is pretty big. So this is just sorting used small parts. You know, it's not even looking at, you know, the larger bits in the rest of that. So this is a pretty big job to take on. I have taken some parts, I think, from the previous sort. Again, some larger parts, some more unique stuff, and I've created a Brickstore file, which I'll show you later on probably, and that's ready to upload. Again, the part count really low, but quite a few lots. So that's all been consolidated. I haven't uploaded it just yet because I need to run it through Brickmetrics. But I'm going to get the boys in and we're going to make another start on this pile and see how far we can get. Good morning. Well, today is Thursday and not, as I said yesterday in the previous clip, it was definitely Wednesday yesterday, but the kids found that quite funny actually when I finished recording that segment, that I got the day wrong. I suppose that's what happens when you're kind of on holiday for the week. Anyway, I thought I'd jump on this morning just to give you guys a quick update. Now, yesterday afternoon, I could tell the kids were getting a little bit stir crazy, so we abandoned the bulk sorting. Only two and a half days into it, but we abandoned it, and we had a bit of a break, and we went out for the afternoon, just get some fresh air, do something a little bit different, rather than, you know, getting bogged down again in the bulk sorting. So yeah, yesterday afternoon was a bit of a wipeout really, and I'm kind of pleased that we did it yesterday because the weather last night turned and it's pretty awful today. It's raining, cold, you know. I think winter's definitely on its way. Anyway, these are the orders that came in sort of late yesterday afternoon and overnight. This one's quite interesting. One of the old Technic 4.5 volt battery boxes, and a few other pieces in there as well. So really nice. I think it's the first time I've sold one of those, so that'll make an interesting package. A few train pieces in this one, including those train wheels, so that's good to see going. And then some sort of general other pieces. So I've got to get all those packed up and then off to the post office. And it did remind me actually that yesterday we did an order to the United States, and it's the first time we've done an order to the US since we changed the postage settings and added the handling fee for the new tariff. So just to remind you, here are my settings. Apologies, it just looks a bit blurred. But you can see there I've got a handling fee. All right, and what I've done is I've added a set 50p plus 10% of the order total. Okay, and I've created two brand new shipping methods for the US only, one for large letter and one for small parcel. They both are for a track service. Keep on the screen a bit longer, there you go. And that's worked absolutely perfectly. So the customers placed their order, they've had a shipping fee to pay, and then it's added in the handling fee, and that handling fee covered the extra tariff charge that showed up through Royal Mail's click and drop. Basically, once you've finished doing the click and drop part and you've selected your postal service and you've added it, when you go to pay, you'll see an extra line for the tariff charge and Royal Mail's charge. You'll see it all there, it's all broken down. And all I had to do was make sure that that fee on that order covered that amount, and it did. So it worked really well. So I'm really pleased about that. The order's gone, and because it's going tracked, in fact tracked and signed, it should get there no problem, and there should be no issues. Fingers crossed. I suppose I'll let you know if there's any problems in a week's time, maybe a week, 10 days. Depends how long it takes to get there, really. So what's the plan for today? Well, same old, I think. We will obviously get these orders out, and then we'll go back and we'll do another bit more bulk sorting. We'll actually see if we can get any more uploads to do. I've still got a few of the tubs from the sort of pre-sort that we did, but I don't have any motivation to get that listed. I just know that I've got a load of it already in the store. It's not particularly fast moving stock, but it was just kind of bulky. And I think that's another challenge that I've got is space. So once we're doing these bulk sorts and we're doing sort of the first sort to get out, the larger parts, I've either got to list it or I've got to store it somewhere, and I just don't have anywhere to store stuff really. That's always going to be a challenge. So I'm better off getting it in the store and actually listed. And you know, I know this is the new section, but on the other side I do still have some empty drawers that I can use for used. But it just feels, yeah, the motivation is just not there when you know it's parts that don't sell very quickly, and it's just going to be taking up space. But I do need to do something with it. Yeah, and I think that's about it. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to do a new set Friday this week for East Midlands Lego hire. I did have a plan for a set this week, but because it's Thursday, I'm not going to have enough time, I don't think, even if it does come to fruition. And what I mean by that is it's not arrived. It's not here yet. So, yeah, new set Friday might be aborted this week, I'm afraid. But, yeah, we'll see. Right, anyway, I better get cracking. I've got lots to do. Hey everyone, it's Friday morning and just another quick update. Now, we've been obviously working through all of this bulk, and one of the things that we were looking for were sort of minifigure parts, minifigure accessories, sort of unique parts, any parts that I thought might have some value in them. And I took that container last night and I've created a Brickstore file, and currently there's only 213 parts, but there is 104 lots in here. And I'm just about to work out the value based on the global average. So let's have a quick look at that. So yeah, last 6 months sales. So what's it going to go? What's it going to be? Is it going to shock me or not? £33. That's a bit disappointing, really. But there was sort of really sort of small parts. Was there anything spectacular in there? Let's just reorder it. So we've got a minifigure screwdriver at £1.40. A couple of roller skates, £1.27. They were off a collectible minifigure from memory. This was from the Quickie Mart. I've been finding some parts from the Quickie Mart actually, mainly sort of printed printed tiles, stickered pieces. I just sold one that I listed only the other day from the same sort of bulk sort. It went out straight away, which was good. So a couple of interesting pieces. A really old light grey brick there with the arrow from the space theme. The grey is a little bit discoloured, but the print's okay. 70 pence. Again, just all right values, but not great quantities, which is a shame. But, you know, it all adds up, and hopefully this is going to add some lots to the store, because I think so far this week the uploading has been okay on the lot count front, but really, really poor on the item count. But, you know, I'm not too fussed about that. I think this week we've had a good time actually, sitting and sorting the bulk with the boys. It's been we've had a good laugh. So today's Friday, obviously, like I just said, so we will do a little bit more today. Not a huge amount, I don't think. All the orders are all up to date. Picking areas all nice and clear. It's been an all right week so far. Last night we did get quite a few orders, but they were all really low value. So just sort of missed the financial target for the day, which is a bit of a shame. But we'll see if the weekend makes up for it. Just catching up with Noah from the Brick Shed over in Australia. He's bought another Lego collection, so I'm just watching his vlog on that, which I've had to pause because I thought I better actually do some work rather than being distracted. So I'm going to get this lot uploaded now, get that consolidated and into the store, and then we'll probably go back and do another bit of bulk sorting. And I've had another thought about what we should do, because well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get this done now, and then I'll go through to the conservatory and I'll show you where we're up to, and maybe you can tell me what I should be doing. Okay, so just before I go and show you all the bulk, I thought I'd just quickly run through again on BrickMetrics what we do with the BSX file. So all of those parts now have all been consolidated and added to the store, and all the remarks have been updated. So I'm just going to bring the Brickstore file across and import it into BrickMetrics. Now, the first thing we need to do is make sure that all of the pricing's up to date. So we'll just recheck the metrics for this file, and as it's doing that, we can have a look down. Basically, this column over here is the one we're sort of most important. Any figures in red mean we're going to reduce the price from that 6-month average. If it's in green, we're going to increase the price, and if it's black, it means that we're not going to change it at all. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of red in here. Now what that means, sort of two things really. Possibly that the UK average is lower than the global. Secondly, the sell-through rates on some of these parts are sort of dictating that I reduce the price, maybe because they're a slow mover, or maybe because they're still priced too high. There's obviously going to be different reasons, but that's based on my sort of price adjustment matrix that I've set up. So that's just nearly finished. Let's just close that off. Now what we do get in my latest version is we will get a value. That's not quite ready for live just yet. But we can obviously go through all of these and double check everything, but I personally don't feel the need. There's a nice one there. In fact, that tile, this is the one from the Quickie Mart. It looks like I'm going to be the only one selling that. I can tell that by the sell-through rate. If I just select that sell-through rate, in fact, you can see at the moment in the UK there are none for sale at all, and the last one that did sell sold for £3. Interesting. Now, based on the averages, it's suggesting I sell it for £2.82. Now I might go and change that afterwards. I might increase that a bit more. But basically, when you're happy with the file, we're just going to export to Bricklink, and it's a matter of just pasting, just like you would do any other time from Brick Store. Here's all the parts. I'll get a total value here. So £33.54, which I'll just add to my spreadsheet. 225 items, 104 lots, and that's uploaded. Job done. Right, I'm going to go back. Let's just refresh this, and there we go, £2.80. So if I just run the inventory import on here, there we go. And if we go down and find that part, there it is there. So I can now click on the image. Here's my inventory, and I'm going to change that to £3.15 as a sort of one-off. Or I could actually do it from here. I can enter an override price, and if I update now, that will also update the price. So two different ways of doing it, really. But you know, every penny matters, so might as well increase that price. Right, let's go and have a look at the bulk then, and see if we can make some decisions. Okay, so here's where we're up to. As you can see, we've still got obviously a pile of parts that are unsorted, as well as, I don't know, a third of that box still left to do. This really is a slow process. I can't emphasize that enough. I don't know if it's just us, if it's the way we're doing it, but it does feel really, really slow. Now, what we've got around the outside is tubs with categories. So we abandoned the sort of final part sorting where everything was unique. These are all now in categories. So we've got sort of 1B1 modified plates, 1B2 modified plates. We've got tiles, we've got greenery, we've got Technic, we've got 1B1 modified bricks, 1B2 modified bricks, 1B1 bricks, 1B bricks, round bricks. Cheese slopes are all on their own because there's so many of them, but other sloping bricks. And from there, we've then generated these tubs of, again, all matching. We're up to a tub and a half now of Technic. The 1B2 modified plates is almost full. We've got loads of slopes. And of course, you always get the rubbish, the fake Lego, the broken Lego, all of that. So that's in there. Now, what I was thinking is this is only the output from, you know, two of these boxes. And I've got loads more, loads. I don't even know how many, but there's a load more down in the chapel. We've got more in other storage somewhere else. And it just feels that if I now go away and sort this out, I'm going to add maybe a couple of hundred parts. There might be ones and twos in there, but no real quantities. Yes, it will add some more missing lots, but there's quite a lot of effort really to sort that out and go and add it to the store. So what I was thinking was I should just bag that up as 1B plates, and bag everything else up with a label, put it back in another box, put it back in the chapel, and go and get some more bulk out and do the same process. And at what point do you stop doing this and take all of those bags of, say, 1B plates and then do the final sort? And that's the bit that I'm kind of struggling with, because we've obviously spent pretty much all week doing this, and we've got very little to show for it actually being added to the store. And that kind of bothers me. We certainly can't be doing this all the time. We're on obviously the dining table in our conservatory. You know, we like to use this for our evening meal. We've not been able to do that this week. We kind of said it was a one-off. So I can't keep doing this all the time. I can't have Lego out all the time doing bulk sorting. So I'm really, really torn as to what to do. Should I just take all of this now and go and gradually add it to the store and then start again on the next batch next time we do some more bulk? I really don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you guys do bulk sorting. Do you have a dedicated area that's always there for bulk? Do you do it in sort of steps? I know that Noah calls it an A sort, a B sort, a C sort, I think that's how he describes it, but at different levels of sorting. Like I said, we've not really done this before. So for us, it is a learning curve, and we're actually experiencing it now. And I'm trying to find what's going to work well for us. So tell me what works well for you. That'd be great, and then we'll see what we can do. I think in the meantime, we're going to have probably another day of sorting out some of this. We'll keep on going, and then maybe tonight I'll have a chat with my wife, and we will make some sort of plan, I think. Because even if we do bag this up and put it back in the chapel, it's not the end of the world if we want to get it back out and actually add it to the store. It's not too much of an upheaval to do that if we do change our mind. Right. Well, it is Friday. Now, New Set Friday, just to mention that, for East Midlands Lego Hire, at the moment, we can't do one. We're missing a part from a set, which might arrive today, but it might not. So at the moment, I don't plan to do a New Set Friday, which is a real shame because it's an absolute belter of a set. But we'll see. We'll see what happens later on. Right, we better get cracking. Well, good morning. And this is the status of the parts since last night. Myself and my wife sat here for about an hour and a half, maybe a couple of hours, just going through the last bits. We now have an empty box and all of it is now sorted, which was really, really good. I think our sorting styles complemented each other, and we managed to get through it really quickly compared to what we'd done all week. Not saying anything about how quick the kids managed to do the sorting, but me and my wife managed to get it all sorted out, which is fantastic. And also during that process, we had a good conversation about what we should do with the parts. Now, as I saw it, we had two options. Option number one is to take the trays, sort them through again, breaking them out into all the individual lots, and then creating a Brickstore file and uploading them into store. Option number two, put these in a bag, label them up, put them back in another one of these boxes, and put them back in storage, with the intention that when we then do another sort, and another sort, and probably another sort of all the other bulk, then we will build up these bags of sorted parts. And then from that, we will then do the final sort and create the lots. And we mulled it over. We weighed up the pros and cons of doing each way. And we decided that we're going to go with the latter option. So today's task is emptying out all of the very small tubs into the categories like this, and then we'll put them in bags and we'll label them up, and we're going to clear this table, put them back in those boxes and put them back into storage. We felt the longer term gain of doing that is probably the best way around. And all we'll do is we'll do another bulk sort just like we've done. I think the larger parts and the sort of minifigure accessories and any parts of interest we'll probably just go straight in the store just like we've done. And in fact, you know, this is the tub that we created just from last night. Now, that means that at the beginning of the week when I said, you know, it'd be great to get a few thousand parts in the store, we'll see how we get on. From this process, we only added 700 parts It was about 300 lots, of which I think about 100 were brand new lots to the store. Now, overall, that sounds really disappointing. However, we've now got all of this all sorted out, which feels really good, because this is, I think, sort of for us, the first step on the way to getting a really good process for sorting out the bulk. So let me know what you think. You know, like I said earlier, drop your comments below and let me know how you guys do it. So I think that's the end of the vlog. So I think I'll wrap everything up. We'll just get all this put away and we'll start afresh next week. Tomorrow evening is our monthly Facebook group call, which is always good. There's always a bit of banter and always lots of great conversation about Bricklink and Brickowl and general Lego selling. So it's always good. I'm looking forward to it. Right. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, do appreciate all your support, and I will see you all next week.